Those. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Today we are picking up on the next part of project management. And with me today is someone who I personally consider a mentor as well. To when I relocated to the UK, this was someone that had to like guide me and show me the ropes and all of that. So you guys are in to learn a whole lot in today's class. This is practical. He's worked on diverse projects. He's worked from different industries. So your question in any direction it's coming from, both you will be able to really tackle them. It's just a pity for those who are missing the live class, but perhaps maybe in the you can look for his name and go look for a way to connect with him any way you can, somewhere or somehow. So, but it will be doing a proper introduction of himself. His name is Mole Ayo Kogi, and yeah, he's been a brother, he's been a friend, and he's got a very large heart. I had a session one time that he was there to talk about project management as well, too, and volunteered to mentor a few people, and he's handled them, and really has helped their career journey between that time and now. So he's someone who really has a large heart, very busy. I mean, he's got a growing family, he's got business, he's got projects to work on, yet he still find time to create these 2 hours to talk to us in this class today. So please do not take it for granted. If we're going to charge you for this class now, it's not going to be a small thing. Commensurate to what is hourly, what each of his hours is worth. So consider this a privilege, and in presence of reality, I will say thank you very much, Ayo, for doing this.
Oh, thank you very
I
much,
pass
Dari.
on the floor to you. Please do a better introduction so that we know you well.
Thank you. I think you've done justice to that. And I was wondering, oh, is that me you're still introducing? All right. Yeah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, anywhere you're logging on from. You're listening to this particular broadcast or this training from. Today we will be talking about the project management roles and resources. I understand from Dari that we've had a session already on project management, so I'll try as much as possible not to go over what you've learned before, but trust me, I might feel tempted to just quickly go over a talk about a few things, because you can actually talk about roles and resources without actually talking about what exactly project management is all about. So I'll definitely be referring to it, but I will not dwell on that. And I just want to give Dari and the team a very big thumbs up for this particular initiative. When he told me about it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm on board anytime. I love this. This is exactly what I love doing, impacting people, getting them ready for the market, whether you're just graduating, you're on your masters, or you want to change a career. This is actually what I love doing. I love talking to people in this aspect of life. So enough of that. Let me quickly introduce myself. Okay, like Darius said, my name is Imole Ayo Kongi, but you can always call me Ayo. I'm a project management consultant, and also funny, and also health and safety. I'm an executive director with Hybrid Group. If you're logging in from Nigeria, you must have heard about Hybrid Group before. I'm a trainer, a coach, and also a speaker. And I've got my master's in project and strategic management from Salford University. We call it Salford Business School. I've got over 13 years experience working on several projects, from IT to financial to FMCG, to pharmaceuticals, to construction. I've worked with NNPC, a subsidiary of a PPMC, basically a subsidiary of NNPC. I've worked with Mastercard. I've worked with British Petroleum, UK National Grid, and that was exactly where I met Darius' wife. Basically, I've worked with British American Tobacco, GlaxoSmithKline, and at the moment, I'm with the food side of Mitsubishi Corporation, which we call the Prince's Group. Um, like Darius said, I've always been doing this. I've always been within the project management industry or sector, let me put it that way. running out and safety project, IT project, like I said earlier on. Uh, I've got few professional certification because you can't be in this particular field without you honing your skills almost every time. So I'm a risk management professional, a schedule management professional, a Prince 2 practitioner, scheduling professional, Agile certified professional, as well as business analysis professional. And I've got member of few professional membership or CompTIA. I'm sure most of you must, if you're within the IT industry, you must have heard about CompTIA before. So also the APMP. APMP basically is UK based like that, and PMI, which is global, Project Management Institute. So that is all about myself tonight. And so let's quickly jump into what exactly we want to talk about today. Like I said, I will definitely be going over few things we've spoken about, and the few things we've spoken about is what exactly is project. So let's look at our objective today. We'll be talking about introduction to project management. Why project management? Why exactly project management? Why do you want to pick up a career? Or why do you think you need to apply project management skills on your project? Then how do you get on board? How do you form a project management career? How do you really get on board to do this? And also we'll be talking about a few project management tools. So if you have questions, you can always drop your questions on the chat box. I love seeing questions along the line, not just waiting until the end of the class before I start asking questions or answering questions. So if you have your questions, always pop them on the comment box, and I will always pick that up to answer them. Okay, so let's go ahead. Like I said, a few weeks ago, we learned about project management. We learned about the 10 knowledge areas and all of that. I'll just quickly brush through before dwelling on what exactly we have for today. So what is a project? We all know a project is that temporary venture that exists to produce a defined outcome. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm sure that last the couple of weeks when you had your training, you heard always a temporary endeavor undertaking to produce a unique product or a unique service. Yes, we're still talking about the same thing. So a project basically must have something unique you want to get out. A project must have a time frame in the sense that, and I love citing this kind of example to say, you know what, we want to vaccinate. Okay, is COVID out there at the moment? And COVID is out there at the moment, and we heard it that before our vaccine can actually get to some part of the world, it's gonna be like 2021 December into 2022, mid 2022. Now, so the vaccine from Pfizer will be available January next year. And we're giving ourselves to say, you know what, WHO and UN are saying from January 2021 till June 30th, 2022, we need to vaccinate everybody. Now, someone will ask that, oh, is that a project or is that not a project? Don't forget that we've got something unique we want to get out. We have a start and a finish date for this particular work. So for me, that is a project. But let's assume to say, you know what, we have flu, we have flu around and all that, and we need to make sure that everyone around the world gets vaccinated. By the time we tell you that we need everyone around the world to get vaccinated, so if you notice, flu has always been there since 1913 or 1918, thereabout. That is when we had the flu. But we need to keep on vaccinating everyone as time goes on and all that. For me, that is not a project. That is just an operation, because there's no end to that. There's no end to this. So you need to first of all look at it. Okay, if I'm coming into this profession, I need to understand what exactly. You can see it's got the beginning, it's got the middle, and it's got the end. And the end is a unique purpose. So we have the final thing we wanted to get out of the project. So have that at the back of your mind to say, you know what, if I'm coming into a project management career, my purpose is to come in and always help the organization to deliver a unique purpose or a unique service or a unique product within a specified time. So that is what the project is all about. All right. So let's look at some projects around us. And I've my focus more is on Nigeria when it comes to this particular product. I mean projects now to say, you know what, Lagos Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail project. It's a project. It's got a start date from 2018. They've started since 2017 or 2018, and they're saying that by December this year, they will definitely get that delivered. So they've got a start time and they've got a finish time to this particular project. So that for me, that is a project. Arsenal North to Hodges South Joint Gas Project. This is one of the massive gas projects in Nigeria. So Nigeria is undergoing, and it's somewhere in Imo State that they are undergoing at the moment, and they want to finish that project by 2022, December 2022. So for me, that is a project. It's got a unique purpose. They need to start harnessing the gas instead of the gas flaring we've been having. It's now time for us to convert this gas into cooking, into running it with cars, running it in industry using the gas as well. So for me, that is a project. Okay, now child flu immunization program, reducing the risk of flu in vaccinated children by 66%. So this particular one is saying child flu immunization program. You can see that this is all about child flu. They can have an area to say, you know what, a typical example is let's take Nigeria as an example. Nigeria had this particular goal to say, you know what, by 2020, Nigeria wants to be polio free. That was a project, and they started a project 10 years ago to say within 10 years we want to make sure that Nigeria is polio free. That was a project. The project, what was the aim? What was the unique product? Unique product is by 2020 we want to make sure that nobody is affected by polio anymore. Child free immunization program, it's a program to say, you know what, for this particular country we want to make sure that between the ages 2 to 10 they need to get vaccinated this year by giving them the flu immunization and all that. So for me, that is a project as well. Refurbishment, renovation, or facelift of home. Yeah, you can't continue to do that. You must have a specified time to say, you know what, from this time to this time is when I want to do a refurbishment or renovation or facelift of our home. So that is a project. Like I said earlier on, I'm giving you all of this context so that when we get into what are the tools you need to use, what are the different roles within this, you understand exactly what we are talking about. And for people that are online at the moment, if I'm speaking too fast, please don't hesitate to bring me back, and I'll try as much as possible to reduce my speed. I'm just conscious of time at the moment, but if you think I'm talking too fast and you need to slow me down, please don't hesitate to do that. Is that okay? Okay. All right. Thank you, Tendai. All right. So next to that is, let's talk about what exactly is project management. What we've been talking about is project. And I'm sure by the time you look to your left, you look to your right, you will always see project around. So let's look at what exactly is project. Project management then is the application of knowledge. So you must have knowledge, application of skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirement. And I'm sure the last class you had, we spoke so much about about the knowledge, about the 10 knowledge areas, and I'll still run through the 10 knowledge areas today and all that. So we need to talk about skills, the tools, the techniques. So what are the tools and techniques? I'll be definitely telling you a few tools as well as techniques you can use in order for you to make sure that projects are managed well. All right, so that definition I gave you is a definition from PMBOK, from Project Management Body of Knowledge. Let's look at what Prince 2 says. Prince 2 says, project management can be defined as a discipline of applying specific processes and principles to initiate a plan, plan, execute, manage the way that new initiatives or changes are implemented within an organization. So now let's break this one down, because the first one is so simple, straightforward to say, is the application of knowledge, the 10 knowledge areas that we spoke about, application of skills like your listening skills, communication skills, skills like your negotiation skills like your uh, uh, which other skills can we talk about now to say, you know what, uh, your Excel skills, all of that. So requirement, so skills, tools. What are the tools we're talking about? Excel could be a tool. MS Project could be a tool. Your fishbone diagram could be a tool. Your focus group could be a tool. Interviews can be, can be a tool, and techniques to project activities, meaning to activities that you need to do in order for you to meet the project requirement. Now, let's talk about let's bring it out as a simple stuff that we all know about. Cooking rice. Cooking rice is ah, I need knowledge. The knowledge is, how do I manage time? How do I manage the resources I've got? How do I manage what exactly I need to do? Okay, the risk involved in this, all of that. What exactly is the skill? The skill is how to apply the right salt, how to apply the right water, how to apply this. So I need those skills and all that. Now, tools. My tools will be my pot, my spoon, and all that, and also the techniques at which I'm adding them. Okay, I can't say I need to add salt first and let salt boil in the water before I pour my pepper because I want to cook jollof rice and all of that. No, I need that techniques. Okay. First of all right, let's cook the stew before we pour the rice and all of that. You can see that is a technique to project activity. What is the activities? Adding that, adding this, pull that. Those are the activities in order for us to meet the requirement. What is the requirement? We want to cook jollof rice. Now, so for me, that is self-explanatory. Let's look at the second one that says project management can be defined as a discipline of applying. So you have to be disciplined. You can't say you're carrying out a project management now and you're running an operation. It's a discipline as the discipline of applying. Well, it's a project and we're using project management knowledge. So guys, let us be disciplined. Specific processes. What are the processes? If some of you have if some of you have looked at the Prince 2 stuff, you will see few processes there. Processes like saying the risk, because we have the processes, we have the themes, and we have the principles. So you can see, okay, specific processes. What is the start of a project? What is the initiation side of a project? What's the planning part of a project? What is the execution part of a project? What's the closeout part of a project? So we're applying specific processes and principles to initiate, plan, execute, and manage the way that new initiatives. Now, most projects are new initiatives. That's why our first definition says that unique product, unique outcome, new initiatives or changes are implemented within an organization. So it could be a change that is being implemented, a change to say, you know what, within this organization, we've been using Windows 7, but because there is no more Microsoft doesn't support Windows 7 anymore, we now need to migrate everybody to Windows 10. So when we say we need to migrate everybody to Windows 10, what that is telling us that as changes are implemented within, that's a change. We need to migrate everybody to Windows 10 within the next 2 months. So for us, that is a project that we need to make sure it is managed properly. Okay, all right, excellent. So let's talk about remember we said this is the application of knowledge, skills. So let's talk about the 10 knowledge areas. Like I said last week, we spoke so much about the 10 knowledge areas, right? So let's talk about it. What are the 10 knowledge areas that we have? We have the integration, the scope, the schedule, the cost, quality. So quickly, I'll just run through how this applies to you. And beautiful thing about large project I'll be telling you about large projects very soon. Beautiful thing about large project is I've worked on a project before with British Petroleum. It's a 500 million pounds project, and the project was about how we drill, how we identify crude oil, and all that. That was what the project was all about. And for different part of these knowledge areas, we had one person managing each of these knowledge areas, and that's what we call the PMO. So I'll still be talking about the PMO industrial, the PMO sector very, very soon. But when we're talking about application of knowledge, what exactly are we talking about? We've got 10 knowledge areas here. So we're saying, you know what exactly is the scope? As a project manager, you must be able to manage scope of work. What is the scope of work? Scope of work is what exactly do we need to deliver? What do we need to deliver? What's the scope? What do we need to deliver? We're saying, you know what, we need to deliver Lagos Ibadan Railroad. Having Lagos Ibadan Railroad, having 5 stations within that, and must be a standard gauge and all that. So we've got the scope. We've got the scope of work. Now, so a project must have the scope of work. Next to that is we're saying that, okay, so as a project manager or as a project management professional, you must know how to manage scope. So that is why PMI will always tell you about scope management. One of the first thing they will tell you, scope management. So they will always tell you about scope management. So as a project manager, you must understand what the scope of work is that you want to deliver, then how you want to manage that particular scope. Next to that is you must understand what exactly is cost management. Don't forget, the main reason why you're on board is to make sure that we deliver the scope and we deliver within the budget. A project management consultant will not be needed. A project management consultant will not be needed if the cost of the scope is not needed, or you're not expected to deliver early. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Apologies. To deliver early. So I've got one of the stuff disturbing me here. All right. So we've got the scope of work, and for the scope of work, we're saying you need to deliver the scope of work and also the cost. Yours is there to come and manage the cost, and managing the cost is managing the cost. So managing the cost is you're there to manage the cost. They brought you in to come and say, you know what, come and manage this cost, come and manage this project for us. These are our budget, and you need to make sure that the cost is managed within the project is managed within the cost. I'm delivering these. I'm here. Okay, we are to spend 10 million, even though we know. Let me quickly put this caveat there. No project goes 100% as planned when it comes to time or when it comes to cost. But for scope, you can't afford not to deliver the scope of work. Let me quickly say this as a project management consultant. So you must have it at the back of your head to say, you know what, I need to deliver these 3 things. I need to deliver within scope. I need to deliver within cost, within budget, and also on time. But I won't lie to you, I've been within this industry in the last 13, 14 years. No project has ever gone 100% as planned in the past. So, but what we are trying to do, and that's why we call it management. What we're trying to do is to make sure that everything is managed properly, that we're not spending above the budget, but we are spending within the budget that has been given to us, and we're delivering value. Next to that is we want to talk about the time management. Schedule management, time management is critical as well, to say, you know what, we need to deliver within the next 2 months. You have to make sure, your job as a project manager is to make sure that you get the best of it, you get the best team whatsoever, to be able to deliver the scope of work within the 2 months that has been specified. Like I said earlier on, no project has ever gone. Maybe some mini project might have gone 100%, but not all project. All project will not go 100% as planned. So there will be some time where things will need to say, you know what, was supposed to deliver, because there are, and I'll talk about that when I'm talking about risk. There are few things that will come up. Few things will come up along the line. A typical example is what happened with COVID-19. A lot of projects were planned. And COVID-19 happened. Nobody thought about it. Moving the time of project, moving the cost of some projects as well. So issues like that, there are risks around that. There are risks, and that's why also as a project management person, professional, or a project manager, an assistant project manager, a PMO analyst, a PMO lead, this is why you need to make sure that risk is well managed as well. It's one of the knowledge you need to know, you need to gather to make sure that risk is well managed. How do we deliver quality? How do we deliver quality? Quality for me, and I always tell them, according to project management, quality according to project management is two things, two key phrases. The first one is fitness for use and conformance to requirement. Now, why am I saying that? When an organization brings you in to say, you know what, Happiness, we want to come and deliver a project for us, or the project is to make sure that the Lagos taxation or Lagos tax system is working well, is incorporated, and we have 20 million people or 15 million working class in Lagos, and we want to make sure that everyone is captured in that particular system. Wants to build a system for us to capture 15 million people and to make sure that each month their taxes are calculated automatically and withdrawn straight away from the account and all of that. That's the scope of work given to you. Now, your job is to make sure that the tool you're creating is fit for use and is in conformance to requirement. Conformance requirement or fit for use in the sense that they ask you that 15 million and want to be able to capture 15 million people, and on the 28th of every month, want to make sure that everyone's tax get out of their salary and all of that. But the tool you created is deducting money on the 2nd of every month. That tool hasn't conformed to requirement, so we can say that that tool is yet to meet the quality of the project, the quality stated for the project. So your job is to make sure that quality is being managed as a project management person, or as a project manager, a project management consultant. So I'll just be using a project management consultant as the whole phrase, or as a whole role for everybody. So within that project management consultant, you can see project manager, you can see PMO person, assistant project manager, project planner, and all that, project support. So just allow me to use that phrase. Also, you should be able to communicate properly. Communication is key, and communication, I will be linking communication and stakeholder management together. Your job as a project manager, the main reason why they are bringing you, see, a project manager before now, project managers are not meant to be technically inclined. They are not meant to be technically inclined. Even till now, they are not meant to be technically inclined. They are just meant to come in and do those things we said. Application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to be able to deliver the project or work on the activity to be able to deliver the project. As a project manager, your job is these two key things: communication and stakeholders management. Because as a project manager, you set up the best of the team, best of the best, those that are technically inclined. Let's assume what we want to do is we want to deliver a website. The project is for us to deliver a website for an organization. If we deliver the website for an organization, you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know how to use your UI designer or UX to be able to as a project manager. Your job is to get the best of the best guys together to say, you know what, this is the project. I'm here to manage the whole project. You're here to manage the people. So that's why you need to communicate. That's why you need a very, very solid stakeholders management experience when it comes to things like this. As a project manager, those two are very, very key. How well you communicate with your team, because you have to do what we call the helicopter form of communication. You have to communicate to your peers, you have to communicate to the people that are working for you, and you have to communicate to the sponsor, to the person, or to your director, whoever is giving you the job. You need to communicate to the person. So as a project manager, your communication skill must be very, very solid. Then to that is resources. You must understand, you must know how to set up the best of the team. Get the best guys to come and work on your project. And that is even where your communication skills will work, because you might be working in an organization. Let's assume you're working with, let's take Lagos State, let's take Lagos State civil service as an example. You're working within Lagos State Civil Service, you're working in Ministry of Finance. Our Ministry of Finance wants to deploy SAP tool. They want to deploy SAP tool. If you want to deploy SAP tool, they need people from Ministry of, if there's anything like that, Ministry of Procurement or procurement agency within the organization, within the ministry. They need people from Ministry of Information. So your job as a project manager is to be able to negotiate for the best people to come and work on your project, because you need those resources. You need to identify them, you need to acquire them, and you need to manage these resources. And that is where your communication and your stakeholders management will definitely come into play. Make sense? Okay, procurement. And also we have procurement as well. You must understand how to do procurement. Understand what is it? You must understand contracts. That's what we talk about in procurement. Talk about contract. Is it a fixed price contract? Is it a cost reimbursable contract? What exactly are these things? You must understand those terms. You must understand how to negotiate. You must understand what exactly are we buying. You don't have to be the one to do it, but you must have a very good understanding to be able to communicate better on all of these things. Okay, any questions so far? I'll take a pause and I will listen to questions if there is any. All right, Tendai is asking here, I have been working on an intellectual property law booklet for New Start from the beginning of this year. It is a personal project, but I have never set a timeline, so I need to set a timeline. So for me, Tendai, it's I'll say you're not working on a project. You need to set it. You need to set a timeline. And why that is happening to you, Tender, because it is your project. So you think, oh, I can actually do it. But if this particular booklet has been given to you by an organization that you're working with, or was saying, you know what, we need to go live. A typical example is your booklet, your intellectual property law booklet you're writing. You can say this booklet needs to go live on the 31st of December, 2020. That is a finished timeline. So you've got a timeline. So I'm sure there will be a time that has been given to you, or you have given yourself, that this particular book will go live. This particular book will be needed by this date. So we can take that date as the finished time for that particular project. Does that make sense? Any question? You can unmute yourself for questions. Yes, you're very, very correct, Sheyi. And that was why I said before now. Before now. That was why I used the word before now earlier, before changing it. Project management are not, I mean, project managers are not meant to be technically inclined. They are just there to come and manage project. They're there to come and manage the project, manage the people that are doing the project, do the reporting. You will see when we get to what are the key functions of a project manager, you will see those things that are listed and all that. But nowadays, everybody wants, they want to kill two birds with one stone. If I can get a project manager that is technically inclined about this implementation or SAP implementation, or that's got experience in this particular line, production line installation, or that has got an experience in this website designing, or that has got an experience in this app development or software development. Why do I need to go and get a project manager that doesn't know anything? I can actually use the two skills together to get what I want to get out. So yes, nowadays people go for people that are technically inclined, but trust me, it is still not, that is not what is given everywhere. If you can hone your skills in project management and they can see that you're up there, your communication skills, your stakeholders management skills is up there, they would rather, and projects are actually failing, all because people are converting. Now we'll get there. I'll tell you two paths to becoming a project management professional. Now, people, projects are failing. A typical example is, at the moment, I'm working on a particular project with an FMCG, with a food industry. And this particular food industry, we're supposed to do line installation, a production line installation, and we're using a project, and we've converted a project engineer to a project manager to manage that particular project. And every time we go into meetings, every time we talk, this person talks like an engineer. This person doesn't really want to plan. This person doesn't really want to talk about risk issues. This person doesn't want to talk about schedules. This person doesn't want to talk about what are the dependencies within this particular project. What am I depending on? What is depending on me? This person just want to say, you know what? Yeah, the depth that tool can measure 2,300 and whatever per hour, per minute, per hour. The bottle can rotate. Da, 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 da. You could see that this person is talking about engineering terms, and not actually the actual project management terms. So sometimes projects get into trouble if you're not putting someone with the project management skills and knowledge to come and manage a project. Okay, good. I hope that clears a lot of things. Okay, thank you. But these days, project manager in certain sector needs basic knowledge of the work, as it is now seen as requirement for equipment. Yes, you're right. That's why, and you have to, and I'm sure for some of you that were online when I introduced myself, you must have been thinking about it that, oh, just within 13 years, you've worked with NNPC, Hybrid, British Petroleum, you've worked with MasterCard, you've worked with National Grid, you've worked with GSK, you've worked with Caligay, you've worked with, you understand? All I'm trying to do is just go around, gather all of those experiences. I get bored. When I deliver a project, I want to walk away. You get just gather all of those oil and gas. You want to deliver a project in oil and gas? I've got that knowledge. You want to deliver a project in construction? Yes, I've done that before. I have that knowledge and all that. So that is why you could see me gathering those industry knowledge around. And that's the way, that's the only way I can substitute for the lack of the technicality for my own field. Does that make any sense? So, but that should not restrict you. That should not restrict you. Nowadays, people are actually finding they're cutting an inch for themselves. How do I mean? You can be a cybersecurity expert and become a project manager within the cybersecurity space. You can be you can be an MS Dynamics solution architect and be a project manager within that space. You get, they pay a lot. They pay crazily. permit my use of word. They pay a lot. You get so within your field, within what you think you have at the moment, if you're a chemist and all of that, you can actually develop a project management skill within that, to the extent that whenever you get into the lab, trust me, nobody becomes a CEO of an organization or a director of an organization based on technicalities only, based on the technical skills only. They want to see, okay, do you have managerial experience? Do you have that? Can you manage business? Can you do that? So that is why you need to also develop yourself in that area. All right. My dad works in construction. He has been building a house for a client. The house was supposed to be done by July, but it's now November, almost December, and there is still work to be done. But the client keeps changing her mind on, for example, tiling. As a fireman, how can you deal with the issues like that? Okay, so the way to deal with that, and if you remember when I was talking about scope, I said the scope of work says this, and you want to deliver the scope of work. So within that scope of work, there is something we call change management. There's something we call change management. Changes, and that's exactly what I said earlier on, that no project, most projects don't go 100% as planned. And the reason being that we have change management. Change management in the sense that the woman is making changes. Because the woman is making changes, your dad will not wake up, Tendai, your dad will not wake up to say, oh, yes, I'm a building engineer, or I'm a civil engineer, or I'm an engineer, and I went to the market, I couldn't get this particular pattern of tiles that the client or the sponsor says she's looking for, she wants, and your dad will just buy the tiles he can lay his hands on and go and change it. Don't forget that what your dad has done is not conforming to requirements. So the sponsor changing the scope of work is allowed. It's a sponsor that is changing it. And the moment the sponsor is changing the scope of work, your dad is also telling the sponsor to say, you know what, because there's a change in the scope, that will now make the timeline to move forward. Are you agreeing to this? So the sponsor is saying, yes, I'm the one changing it. How many weeks is it going to have? It's going to have 3 weeks to that. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead. Now, that is a verbal approval just because it's a one-to-one stuff. But when you're within an organization, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work as a verbal. Oh, okay, you've got to change. I want you to write those changes down. We need to take this particular change to say you're changing the tiles from 4 by 4 to an hexagon type of tiles. And okay, that is that. What is the impact of this? Because this particular tiles is not in Nigeria or is not in the UK, we need to import this particular tiles from China. And for us to import it, it's going to take 3 months to get here. So the impact on our time is 3 months. The impact of this particular tiles on costs also is £3,000 more. So what we've done so far is we've done the impact analysis of that particular change. So we now take this particular change back to the change control board to say the change control board, which has got the sponsor and some key stakeholders in there, to say, based on this particular change of changing tiles, this is what the impact is. There's going to be an impact of £3,000 more on the overall project cost, and the timeline will move by 3 months. Do we all agree to this? So the change control board, headed by the sponsor, will say, no, we don't agree. Go ahead with what you're using before. Or they will say, yes, we agree. Let's get the new tiles, and they will approve it. Their approval is all you need to rebaseline your scope and also to rebaseline your cost as well as your time, to say, instead of the £50,000 to build this particular bathroom, the bathroom is now £53,000 to build. Instead of the normal 6 months to build, because we now have 3 months added, it is now 9 months to build. Instead of the normal scope that says the scope of this is 4 by 4 tiles, a square tiles, we're not saying the new scope is now hexagon. So by the time you deliver your project, what you'll be benchmarking your project against is now the new baseline. Does that make any sense? So for the project sponsor changing our mind, oh, that's okay. There is a change and there's a new date being communicated. So you have to keep on communicating. Whenever there is change, you keep on communicating, you keep on doing that, and you keep on communicating, and you have to always get approval. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Okay. What project involves? Like I've been saying this, project management involves creative problem-solving work, managing relationships. Don't forget, you're there. Yes, I know you're there to deliver the outcome of the project, but you are also there to make sure that you're managing relationships. That is critical for you to manage relationships. It is very, very, and that is what I call the stakeholders management. For some of you that might be going for job interviews at the moment, you will definitely be getting questions from interviewers on managing relationships. They will always tell you, okay, you have this particular manager who wants this done or who doesn't communicate, who doesn't do this and that, or you have this particular team member who is always grumpy in the morning. How will you manage this person? Or you have a team member who is always littering the whole office or the kitchenette and all of that. How would you manage this person? Those are all about stakeholders management. Those are all about managing relationships. And those questions will always come. And please go and learn how to answer such questions. Don't just say, oh, if that I won't talk to the person, or you say, you know what, I'll just tell the person, just get away from here, or I'll tell the, or I'll just ignore the person and all that. No, even if that kind of situation has never happened to you before, create a scenario around it to say, you know what, I've got 4 siblings, and this thing always happen, and I always negotiate with them to say, you know what, this is it. If we don't clean this place is gonna be dirty, or if you don't do that, just quickly create a scenario to say, you know what, yeah, this has happened to me before in my previous job, or this happened to me while I was in uni. Just try and paint a scenario immediately to answer the question. Whenever you're going for interview, I know some of you might be going for interviews or preparing for interviews. When they paint a scenario for you, answer their questions by telling them that you've experienced this before, by painting a scenario. That's not, even though that's not the key for today, but that is one of the best ways to answer some of these interview questions. Put them into a dream, put them into a role play, and let them go into the journey with you. By the time you do that, they are seeing you as part of them already, or they are seeing themselves as part of you already, and that works well psychologically on your interviewers. All right. So a series of structured processes and negotiation. Managing series of subcontractors. You will definitely be managing subcontractors. You'll be managing people. Open and honest communication. That is very, very key. Open and honest communication is very, very key. Note, project planning is work. Working is not planning. Like I said, my project engineer just want to work. He doesn't like planning. And project management, the major work is planning. We need to sit down. We need to talk about how we want to go from A to B to C to D. It must be clear to everybody. That is very, very critical. Why is project management important? 99.9% of every dollar is wasted due to poor project performance. You see why you're needed as a project manager or as a project management consultant? Because 9.9% of every dollar is wasted due to poor project performance. The reason why you're needed to come into this industry or to manage your projects very well is because 32% of a budget is lost when a project fails to reach its goals. When it doesn't reach its goals, 32% of the budget is gone. 39% of projects fail due to changing an organization's priorities. A typical example is the example that Tendai gave us about let's assume your dad had gone to finish the project before telling the woman that, okay, yes, we're almost about to buy the tiles now. Let's go ahead and buy the tiles. And after buying the tiles, after fixing, the woman will say, you know what? No, this is not, I don't want these tiles. I hate it. I just hate this style. Can we change it? That is a rework entirely. Project fails due to changing an organizational priority. Our priority has changed, and all of that from that particular tool. 52% of the completed project experience high scope creep. What do we mean by scope creep? I'm sure the last training they told you about scope creep. Scope creep is just making changes without getting approval. It's just exactly what we said about the construction work that Tender's dad is doing. Let's assume Tender's dad is just making changes all by himself without consulting the sponsor. Instead of a 9 inches block, Tender's dad just went ahead to use 7 inches block. Instead of board, Tender's dad went ahead to use bricks, all because he couldn't get board in the market. That is what we call scope creep. When you make changes without getting approval from the sponsor, that is what we call scope creep. Make sense? Okay, so, and 68% of organizations outsource their project to third parties. 68% of organizations, they just don't want to get involved. They just outsource it to third parties. You know, well, let third party manage this for us. We don't want to do it. So you can see why you need to come into an organization and be involved in that as a project manager. Why do companies hire a project manager or a project management consultant? There are so many complex processes, and approach involved in managing project. Remember, I didn't say so many complex technicalities or technical things. Processes, complex processes and approach involved in managing project, which if certain competencies are lacking, definitely the project is planning to fail. If certain competencies, that is what you're bringing, that is what you'll be expected to bring on board as a project manager or a project management consultant. Hence, the need for a project manager who is expected to embody the needful competence to drive the project towards successful outcome. So you're as a project manager, you're meant to drive the project towards successful outcome. Okay. Before I move on, any question? Sorry, apologies. I know you might not be used to this particular system. I can't afford to talk for long and just wait at the end of the day. I believe this should be an interactive session. Project management sessions are always, or training are always interactive. So I just don't want to go till the end, and that's when I'll start asking questions. I love it. Asking questions, because your question will help me to direct what I know you want to see, and not what I want to tell you. It is more of what you need to hear. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Shay. You too, Knuckles. All right. In the absence of none, let's continue then. All right. Let's talk about the 8 key values of project managers or project management consultants. 8 key values. And I'll just rush through this because these are things we've spoken about already. Leadership skills. A project manager should be able to motivate, inspire team members to achieve common goals. What exactly is our outcome? What is the common goals we have here? The project manager must be able to motivate and inspire the team to achieve common goals. It is very, very key. So that is why as a project manager, while you're in uni or while you're out of uni serving, if you can tell people that are coming behind you to say, you know what, anything you can get your hands on while you're in uni to lead, make sure you lead. Is it a group term paper or a project? Get involved. Is it the organization's association? Get involved. Is it your religious body association, get involved. What you're trying to do is you're just trying to hone your leadership skills as you go ahead, and that builds your confidence. It's going to build your morale as you go ahead. So don't ever despise, say, you know what, I just want to go to school, I just want to go and read, I just want to go and study and walk away. It doesn't you just be a best graduating student, but not a best graduating human being or a person. You will just be a student that's graduated with the best of the best and all that. But you need to make sure that you're well rounded as a person. You have to be a problem solver. Come up with solutions. What everybody's saying that they can't see, you have to make sure that you bring everybody together to say, you know what, yeah, we can solve this. What if we think about it this way? What if we think about that is why the questions that was it Shay that was asking that question earlier on about technicalities and all of that. Yeah, that's why sometimes a little bit of the technical knowledge is required. You need to read. I've got at the moment, I'm working with a program manager at the moment that is a guy I respect so much. He's never delivered a project in an FMCG before, but when it comes to the office every morning, he's got something new to tell us about FMCG. All because while it gets back to the FMCG is fast moving consumer goods like your Nestle and all of that, Coca-Cola and all that, even though you call them beverage, but they are called FMCGs, fast moving consumer goods. Now, it comes every day, every morning, telling us something different, something new. And sometimes when this guy talks in the in meeting, I'm like, where is he getting that from? All because he's always reading, he's always watching stuff on YouTube, on FMCG, online, on production line engineering and all of that. And he will come the following day and he's talking, you understand, understanding what exactly we said yesterday and all that. So for me, you have to be a problem solver, and we love him. We love my program manager being in the meeting. He would definitely have a solution for us. He's a problem solver. Effective communication. 90% of the time doing a project goes into communicating. Remember, I said it, communication, stakeholders management. 90% of the time, as a project manager, you're communicating, you're speaking. If you're not speaking, you're writing. If you're not in a meeting, you're sending emails. If you're not sending emails, you're doing brainstorming session. If you're not doing brainstorming session, you're in a planning meeting. If you're not in a planning meeting, you're in a project update meeting. It's just communicating. Cultural awareness. Cultural awareness is key. I was speaking to someone. I said, well, the whole world is a global community now. And I think that's why I'm very, very happy with Dari and the team concerning this, to say, you know what, you don't have to be in Kenya, you don't have to be in Uganda before you can get a job in the UK. I mean, you don't have to be in the UK before you can get a job in the UK, from Uganda, from Kenya, from everywhere in the world. And here comes the cultural awareness. That is why the cultural awareness is very, very key. If you're from Nigeria, don't restrict yourself to just the key cultures we have in Nigeria. If you're from Kenya, don't just restrict yourself to those things, or from Uganda or whatever. Try and broaden yourself. Understand how things work outside. Do you understand? That will definitely help you. A cultural aware project manager can avoid miscommunication and conflict in a team. Being an optimist. Don't be a pessimist as a project manager. A project manager is always an optimist. Credibility. You must be credible. You can't say A today and be saying B tomorrow. Integrity is key. You must be credible. You must be credible as a project manager. You must have people saying that, oh, uh, Fatima, sorry, I don't want to call your name wrongly. Zanami or Zanem. Let me stick with what I understand. Fatima cannot say A today and she's saying B tomorrow. It's not gonna work. You won't gain the trust of the people. So that is why you need to make sure that you're credible. Digitally savvy. Remember, in all of these things I've spoken about, in all of these 8 things we've spoken about, you can't say anything like technical. It must be technically inclined. Digitally savvy is just saying that you must know how to use your laptop, you must know how to use your phone, you must know how to use all of that. That's just it. Staying updated with the latest project management tools and techniques that optimize workflow. And we'll talk about those tools very, very soon. Will set apart a project manager. Trust me, it will set apart a project manager when you know how to use some key tools. And I'll tell you some key, there are over 50 something project management tools out there, or 60 of them, but I'll tell you the key ones that you can always find within all of these top organizations and all that. Okay. Knowledge of other frameworks, having knowledge of Agile. I'm sure Dari is a man to go for when we're talking about Agile or Scrum. Program and portfolio management will be of immense value down the line. So I won't bore you with what program or what portfolio is at the moment. Let's just stick to project and all that. Nearly 16 million new project management roles will be created by 2020. You can imagine this year alone, even though COVID took like 5 months off us. So we're believing that it will move into 2021 across the world in 7 project intensive industries: manufacturing, business services, finance, insurance, information services, construction, utilities. Total employment for project managers will increase by 2020. I didn't get one for Africa, basically. 33% in China, 60% in India, 40% in UAE, 12% in the US. You can see. So you can be in Nigeria and you're applying for jobs across the world. And trust me, you will get it if you do your CV properly and you're able to interview properly as well. Okay, so let's now talk about where we're going to, the roles. What are the key roles within project management that you think you can get into? So I've got it as 2. I've got the key project management roles, and I've got the project management office roles as well. So let's talk about the project management roles first. Then I'll talk about what project management office is and the key roles within that. So the first thing here is a project coordinator, a project support. That is the entry. That is the entry. Entry level project support, project coordinator, or project support. Sometimes you see it as project support officer and other. Who are these people? These are folks that are there to support the project manager. Remember, project manager will keep on communicating. Project manager might not have the time to set up meetings. Project manager might not have the time to look out for documenting risk, issues, assumptions, decisions, dependencies, change. You will be the person to help. It's more like an administrative role for the project manager. So you're doing all of the administrative role for the project manager, but for you to do that, it is required that you have a project management skills and knowledge as well. You must have that competency in project management for you to be able to do that, but not at the level of the project manager, but at least have some understanding. I can't be talking about risk as a project manager and my project support doesn't know anything about it, or my project coordinator doesn't know anything about it. It is more of the next to that is who we call the project scheduler. Sometimes you see it as a project planner. They are there to plan your project for you, to say, you know, a project manager, yes, you said you want to move from A to B. I know how to use this particular tool and I can help you plan your project. So tell me, what do you need to do first? Yes, we need to buy the rice. Okay. After that, what do we need to do next? Okay, we need to make sure we wash the rice. Okay. After that, what do we need to do? So the project manager is telling you. So as a planner, you are there to document it and also to make sure that you're monitoring what the project manager is doing and you're updating the plan to say, okay, has it poured it? Yes, poured it. Mr. Project Manager, have you bought the rice? Yes, I've bought the rice. You're marking it. Let's assume after 2 hours, the project manager said, my rice should be done after 2 hours. So you're checking your plan to say after 2 hours, The rice is not done. So you're calling the attention of a project manager to say, Mr. Project Manager, according to our plan says that this will be done by this, but unfortunately, it is not yet done. So as a project scheduler, that is your job. And we always use them for mostly large projects. So you can see even in some organizations, a project scheduler is key. And I'm sure if you go on LinkedIn or you go on Google, just search for project planner role. You will see numerous project planner role, and they pay big money. My first role in this country when I moved to UK in 2013. First role in 2013 was a project planner role with British Petroleum. You get not program planner. Program planner is the next level to project planner. So it's more like managing several projects, not just one project, several projects, planning several projects. And all I needed to know how to use was MS Project, and I used my MS Project properly, and it was good. Next to that is you have your assistant project manager. Assistant project manager is just like a junior project manager that might not be managing projects that are of high budget, but just managing a kind of low budget project, but it's still end-to-end project, assisting the project manager for some of the project and all that. And also we have the project manager itself as a person. So if you're just coming into the project management and space, these are ways you can start and get into managing project as a project manager. And from there, you move into your senior project manager, which is another level. Most senior project manager, they don't manage just one project. They manage 3 projects. Sometimes they call them program manager as against senior project manager. They manage, you can see for large organizations like a program manager, as they oversee multiple projects. They look at multiple projects within the organization. So that's why they call them senior project manager. If you look at the red or the orange or the circle on the right hand side, you can see that a project manager is there to plan, to track, initiate, control, manage, execute, estimate, organize, and communicate. These are key things that we expect a project manager to come and do. So if you're coming into this space, you need to start developing your planning skills. That is very, very key. Planning skill is very, very key to say, okay, how do I plan? What do I need to learn? I'll tell you a few tools that we should be learning. Key tools we should be learning in order for us to come into to understand this particular stuff. And whenever you're managing your project, to make your project very easy, as a project manager, you need to learn these skills. You need to learn these tools. They make life really, really easy. You must be able to track while your project is going on. You must track the plan. You must track the plan. The typical example is Tendai told us earlier that she's managing a law book and she doesn't have a time set. So there's no way to track progress. And in life, even in life, we need to track progress. Do you understand? For our own life. So that's why our life is more like a project. We need to track progress to say, you know what, January 1st of Jan 2020, you wrote out your goals to say 3-month goals, 6-month goals, 9-month goals, 12-month goals. And after 3rd month, you have to track the progress. Where am I? You need to initiate. You need to control. Okay, I won't be able to do this within. I won't be able to do this by March. So you're getting to March, and you discover that no, I won't be able to achieve this by March. I think I need to move it to June so that I will be able to do it in June. Oh, this particular one, I think this particular one that I pushed to June, I can actually bring it to March and finish that by March. What you're trying to do at this point is you're controlling and you're managing what is being done and you're executing and you're trying to estimate how many time will be used for you to organize and communicate. Remember, communication is coming again. Communicate, communicate, communicate as a project manager. That is why at the moment, if you're coming to this space, make sure you're owning your skills, your communication skills. It is very, very critical. Very, very, read books, go on YouTube, listen to things, read, engage. Read people engage. Stand, even if you can't engage, if you don't see people you want to engage, stand in front of the mirror, carry the book, engage yourself, make communication. Do you understand? Make communication with people for that. Okay, yes, I've got a question here. So I'll go to the next slide. What is a figure of the opportunity with respect to project manager in Nigeria and Africa? Like I said, Abdurrahman, I tried to get those figures. I couldn't really get the figure. I just got a salary figure for project managers in Nigeria, which I will show you later on that. I say, what role are there for project manager in the information sector, to be precise? Now, when you say information is ambiguous. Are you talking about information security or information IT? Are you talking about IT, or you're talking about information as in press? Okay, so I'll wait for you to clarify that. Oh, IT. Yes, there are loads of project managerial role in IT. Like I said, there's even one that is called the IT project manager. And I'm wondering, okay, IT project manager, what exactly is that? You can have data, big data project manager. What that is telling you is the moment we start specifying IT project managers, what that is we need someone who is a project manager but has technical ability or technical skill in that particular thing. If we're saying we need MS Dynamics project manager, that means I need a project manager that understands MS Dynamics. Maybe we want to do an MS Dynamics implementation. Let's assume we're saying we need cybersecurity project manager. So that means I need a project manager that understands cybersecurity, maybe Security Plus, CISSP, CISA, CISM, or what? Do you understand? The person must understand all of this. I've spoken about data migration. If you need data migration project manager, that means you need a project manager that understands data migration. So you can see that there are, in every other things you can have software development project manager. Funny enough, yes, there are software development project manager, meaning a project manager that understands how to code, or software engineer project manager and understands how to code. Okay, so it's all about name any aspect of IT. You can have a project manager for that, and that's exactly what I'm saying, that the best thing you can do for yourself is you've got a field, you've got your niche within the IT. Try as much as possible to develop your project management skill. It is very, very mobile app. Yes, you can have mobile app project managers. I'm sure if you go on LinkedIn, you will see jobs on mobile app project manager. All they are looking for is a project manager that understands mobile app, that can coordinate the team properly. That when these developers are talking, the project manager will understand what the developers are saying, and will be able to channel the whole thing in the right way. All right. Tender is asking, can you give examples of requirements for a management plan? I didn't get that. Can you give examples of requirement for a management plan? Okay. Now, a management plan, if I'm right, the person that took you the first project management class taught you on the PMI methodology. So if we're using the PMI methodology, a management plan is a plan that has your scope management plan within it, that has got your resource management, how you plan to manage scope, to say, okay, what do we call scope baseline? What do we call scope creep? Okay, what do we call assumptions? What do we call this requirement, the acceptance criteria? What would be our scope acceptance criteria? So all of these are within your scope management plan. You actually have 10 or 9 management plan. You have your procurement management plan, you have your schedule management plan, you have your quality management plan, you have your risk management plan, communication management plan, stakeholders management plan, you have your cost management plan, you have your scope management plan. Putting everything together is what will give you what we call the project management plan. So I always say this, that the project management plan that you've created is the Bible in which you need to use to execute your project. So if I'm looking for how you want to execute your project from start to finish, all I just need to do is, can you send me your project management plan, please? The moment you send me your project management plan, that will tell me how you intend to start your project and also to finish your project. That contains everything I need to know. Sometimes it might be 15 pages. Sometimes it might be 110 pages or 1,000 pages. It's dependent on what exactly is contained in that particular management plan. Does that make any sense? Is that what you're looking for, Tendai? Okay, good. Let's go ahead. So these are the roles you need to understand when it comes to project management roles. I'm running behind time now. Okay, let's talk about project management office roles. So for project management office roles, so within an organization, there are a few organizations that will tell you that, you know what, in this particular organization, we manage projects a lot. And a typical example is big organizations. I'll pick MTN, Etisalat, I think they call them Nine Mobile now. Nine Mobile, GTB, all of those big guys will not just have a project manager, or will not just tap a finger in the air and bring about a project. No, they will always have what we call the project management office. The project management office is a sector or a unit within the organization that manages all of the project. So meaning, if IT, like I was saying earlier on, let's assume Lagos State Ministry has got project management office. So if Ministry of Finance wants to implement SAP, instead of Ministry of Finance to implement the SAP themselves, you know what? They will give it to the PMO office, to the project management office, to say, project management office, this is a project we want to execute. You have to do this for us. So it's now the project management office that will go to Ministry of Information, say, okay, this is the guy, that's the guy, that's the guy, that's the guy, and they get the project managers within the PMO office as well. We have project managers within the PMO office. We have a PMO analyst. We have a PMO manager that is coordinating all of that work with the project manager. The project manager is delivering the work, while the PMO is doing what? They're organizing, they are defining what the framework will be. Framework in the sense that, okay, these are the templates. So like I was telling to Tender earlier on, to say scope management plan, plan, this plan, that plan, that plan. If we have a PMO, we don't have to go to Google to go and search for I need a template, or I need to start developing my scope management plan. Where will I get what a scope management plan looks like, or where will I get what a requirement traceability matrix looks like? No, the PMO will definitely have all of these templates within the PMO that the project manager can say, oh, Abdurrahman, you know what? I need that. Did you have the template for requirement traceability matrix? And Abdurrahman, yes, we've got it on the PMO. This is a link to it. You can download it there. So the PMO will be the one to actually design, create, and get confirmation from all of these. So they are the project management office that gets all of these. They are the ones in charge of all of the projects to say, these are all the projects we have. Which ones should we be doing at this time? If a project manager or team needs training on how to manage project, they are the ones in charge to manage that. They want to manage risk issues, or give you, how do you think we should manage risk within this organization for our project? The PM will be the one to establish what are the guiding principles in order for us to manage this particular risk? How do we manage scope? How do we manage issues? What are the communication strategies? The PMO will be the one to create all of this. So that's why except if the organization is not big, there's no point having a project management office because that would be a waste of resources. But if it's a big organization, I would rather tell them to have a project management office so that they will be able to coordinate things properly within the office. So this is what you have. You have a project support. So the project support officers is the same as what we have as a project coordinator, basically. PMO analyst is the next level. A PMO analyst is expected to understand what risk is, should be able to manage risk, should be able to look at the RAID log. The RAID log, what we call RAID log, is risk assumptions, issues, and dependencies. And the project manager, the PMO manager, is that manager that sits on top of the PMO to oversee the PMO office. And also we now have who we call the PMO director, who is the boss that sits with the directors up there to manage project and also things within the organization. Any question before I move on? Okay, I've got a question from Abdurrahman here. How can one fit in all these roles in his or her CV? Is there a course or a book or any recommendation you can give? Well, it's if you're a project manager, you're a project manager. If you're an assistant project manager, you're an assistant project manager. What you just need to start looking for is your responsibilities. Basically, will be your responsibilities. Let me see. So I'm just trying to look for something in my, just to show you what I'm talking about. One moment, please. Okay. All right, so this, I'm sure you can see my Word document. I'm just gonna show you. Okay, so you can see this is, sorry, if you can see my Word document, can you let me know? Just type yes. If that is what you can see, a Word document. Okay, Abdurrahman said no. You should be able to see a Word document. You asked the question, you should be able to see it. Fatima can see it. Okay, everyone can see it, Abdurrahman. I'm not sure why you're not seeing it. Okay, so you can see that. So that's my CV. Basically, you can see that is the role I'm working on at the moment. You can see that, and that's what the project is. These are the responsibilities within that particular project. So you can't afford to fix all of that into the project and say, oh, that is what it is. No, you have to, if you're a project manager, you're a project manager. If you're an assistant project manager, you're an assistant project manager. If what you're working on at the moment is website development, yeah, you can put it there that you're a project manager that manage the development of a particular website and all that. So that's just what that is all about. So these are the roles within the project management office, and trust me, you can tap into any of this. You can work your way into any of these and be good. Okay. All right. Let's talk about what are the parts you can do to become a project manager or into a PMO. The first one is accidental. You can be accidental project manager or an accidental PMO analyst or an accidental PMO support person. You can be. And what am I talking about? You're working on a project. A typical example is the engineer I just spoke about. The engineer I just spoke about now is a typical example who we moved from being an engineer to a project manager. If you can do that role properly, he can start calling himself a project manager and start picking up project. So for that is an accidental, and I'm sure in some of the things we've done in life, some of the things we've done in life that we don't have the skills and all of that, but someone gave us the opportunity to say, you know what if you handle that? What if you handle that project? What if you handle that? And before you know it, that has now become what exactly we're doing at the moment. So that is one of the ways to become it. And from that, you can go from zero to be a hero if you manage it well. And if you don't manage it well, the shoe might be too big for you and you might fall. And if you manage it well, what will you become? You become the superhero. So it's all about making sure that the moment I have it. So let's talk about what do I do if I become an accidental project manager or as an accidental PMO analyst or an accidental PMO person. What do I need to do? First thing you need to do is take a stock of the experience you already have. What are my experiences? What do I really have? Determine the knowledge and skills you will need. Okay, for me to be successful in this particular new role that I've been given, what are the skills I need? You have to determine it. You have to take a stock, determine those skills, go for it. See, I always tell people that most of the things I learned in the last 10 years, I learned them even 13 years, 14 years, basically. Most of my tools and all of that, I learned them via YouTube. There are loads of things. I'm preparing for an exam, a professional exam at the moment. The cost of that professional exam or the cost of training for that exam is huge. It's £2,500. And I saw a free full training on YouTube. And that's what I sit down to do every evening. 1 hour every evening, switch on YouTube, sit down with it and learn. Take my notes and all of that. And I can write the exam outside. I don't have to write the exam where I need to register for the store. So YouTube, instead of watching, I always tell people, instead of spending time watching Nollywood or whatever on YouTube or watching Britain's Got Talent of 3 minutes, and before you know, you had already watched 20, 3 minutes, 20, that's 60 minutes already, and time is gone, your data is gone. Invest that time. Invest that time to study what you think you need to take you to wherever you're going to. That doesn't mean you should not have fun. Let's have fun. Let's ball. It's all about is when you spend too much time on it that I've got a problem with. Really, determine the knowledge and skills you need. 2, take advantage of learning opportunities. Like I just said now, there are free trainings out there on YouTube. This COVID-19 has even brought a lot of free trainings to us. You understand? Learn, keep learning, keep learning, keep learning, keep listening, keep reading, keep learning. You can never tell when you will need a particular thing you just read 2 days ago. All right, implement what you have learned. Implement it. Don't let it go to waste. If you have to teach someone, teach. If you have to write something, if you have to write on LinkedIn based on what you've read on Facebook, on Twitter, make sure you implement it. Just push it out. Because the more you push them out, the more you keep on learning and knowing all those things. Decide your next move. Okay, I'm here now. Do I want to continue or do I want to go back? Decide your next move. So that is the pathway. If you find yourself accidentally as a project management person, these are the key things I believe you should be doing or you should do. All right, let's talk about it. Let's plan. What if I'm planning to build a project management career? What do I need to do? Okay. Training is key. Go for trainings like the one you're doing at the moment. Go for trainings. Next to that is when you do training, certification, get certified. Get certified. There are 2 main project management certifications that you need to get yourself in. There's something called CAPM or PMP. So from Project Management Institute. So for the one from Project Management Institute, if you see if there is CAPM and there's PMP. So for the CAPM one, you can see you don't need years of experience. After your first degree, you don't need years of experience. You can just go for it straight and write your exam. But for PMP, you need 3 years work experience. You need 3 years work experience after your first degree as in project management field before you can do that. Then next to that is the Prince 2 Foundation and Practitioner. You don't need any experience for Prince 2 Foundation or Practitioner. But this is the caveat with it. If you're in Nigeria, majorly, we use both in Nigeria, but we use the PMI certifications more in Nigeria, the PMP and the CAPM. If you're in the UK, Prince 2 Foundation and Practitioner is easy for you. If you're in the US or you're in Canada, PMP or CAPM is it for you. So stick to that, and you can always do any of the two. They are well recognized around the world. Okay, go for internship, learn internship. I came into project management through this is the route. This is actually the route or the route I took. First thing I did was to go for training. Next, I did my certification. I did internship during my service year. During my service year, I did internship. After finishing where I worked from 8 to 4:30 or 4:15, I'll go to one construction. My brother-in-law has got a construction firm. I'll go to his construction firm to go and do internship as a project manager. I was using I was learning MS Project and Primavera, and I was using those tools and also some of the documentation. I'll download those documentation on Facebook, on Google, and I will use it for him. He was not even interested in using project management, but I was forcing him to use it. He knows the technical side, and I say, okay, well, you know what? Sorry, bro, you know what? I'm gonna help to document, to put it in a proper project management documentation and all of that, and that was it. That was how I started, and I learned all the tools. I could remember the first day we went to show the client, the sponsor. We're building a house for one of these directors, one of the federal government directors in Abuja then, and I took my laptop with me. Then his laptop, because I got MS Project installed on it. I was using it to do all the on MS Project, and we were talking to the man on MS Project to say, you know what, this is the key activities we need to do. These are the milestones. And the man was looking at us. And when I left there, my brother-in-law said, you know what, Ayo, you need to teach me this thing. Look at the way the man was looking at us, that yes, he's really paying good money for his project and all of that. So go with mentorship, then get membership of organizations that benefit with PMI membership, especially get PMI membership and all that. Okay, Fatima Ajasa is saying, I studied industry chemistry, great cation and anion. I studied chemistry as well. But the funny part about it is I never used my chemistry certification for once, because I moved into project management just immediately after uni and all that. And so yes, there are, it's all dependent. If you want to, if what you're looking for is project management, yes, these are the two project management certification to go for. They are very, very key, except if you feel, oh, I need to start, because you're not within IT. If you're not within IT, then I will introduce you to CompTIA Project Plus. It's not necessary. You can pick up one of these two. And for some of you, I'm sure during your service year, you went through some of these trainings as well that some organizations come to do for us. That is part of the things we're talking about. Those are the part of trainings, and you can now move ahead to say, you know what, I want certification in this, I want to do certification in this, or and when you within an organization, you can actually make use, even as a chemist, while you're in the lab. I don't like telling the story of my of chemistry, really. Okay, she said, Fatima said, I took a course in cybersecurity from Cisco during lockdown. Excellent, that's good. So you're moving into IT, into cybersecurity or networking. That's fantastic. So that's good. So you can look at CompTIA Project Plus. Look at CompTIA Project Plus for IT folks. It's very easy to pass. That was how I started. That was the foundation of my own project management, knowing fully well that I'm coming from chemistry and I want to pick up a career in project management. I went to the barest minimum. I didn't go for any of the CAPM or PMP. I went for the barest minimum to say, you know what, it's a new career I'm starting. I'm a baby in this. So I went for the simplest certification first, just to get into the whole thing. That was just before I started my NYSC, basically. Okay. So that is how to go about it if you really want to plan a career within this. Okay, so why I need to get certified? Why do you need to get certified? I've got 20 minutes left, so I've got 10 minutes to run through my slides. Clients wants to know that they are working with the best. They want to know they are working with the best. I'll tell you, my CompTIA Project Plus was what gave me my first job after NYSC. That was what gave me my first job after NYSC. My first job to say, okay, they were looking for project management trainees, and they saw that on my certification as a copper. Every other person I worked with had graduated 2 years before me. I was the only one that was just fresh out of service year, and I was the only one with the certification. All of them has got 2 years experience and all of that, and I got it. Easy access and leverage with a PM community, unlimited resource and knowledge. Like I said, if you're a member of PMI, you have unlimited access to things. Professional credibility, your credibility is up there. They know you're a professional because we do something called ethics when we do certification. Deep knowledge and understanding of global goals, of global best practices. Certification also makes you, people look at you that, okay, you're not local. You're not local anymore. It's now more of your global person, because the same certification that they do in Australia, the same person that is PMP in Australia, the same person that is PMP, I mean, it's the same PMP in Nigeria, the same PMP in Ghana, same PMP in South Africa. So you just talked about global best practice. Certification opens the door to higher earning of potential. You can see the median salary of US project professional without PMP is $92,000. With PMP is $115,000. Let's look at Nigeria. So this is Nigeria. Sales distribution Nigeria says about project manager. Average 25% of employees earn less than 282. 50% of employees earn 429. That's, we're talking about project managers now. Project managers, 25% of them earns 282. 50%, 429,000. 75% earn as much as 560. While almost 100%, while the rest earn 647,000 pounds. I mean naira. Sorry, did I say pounds? Naira. So that is what the statistics about Nigeria's salary is talking about when it comes to project management. So I'm going to pause for 2 minutes to answer your questions, if there is any question. Any question from anybody? All right, in the absence of none, let's talk about the tools. Project management tools. I put the project management tools into three. I've put them as the collaborative tool, the planning tool, as well as the logs. So let's talk about the collaborative tools. The collaborative tools, like I said, we have almost 45 or 47 collaborative tools, but these three are the major collaborative tools that people use. Okay, I'll add two more to this, but it's not here. I'll just write them down. You can just write them down. First one is SharePoint. I'm sure a lot of you know SharePoint. SharePoint is from Microsoft. It's a key tool that I can actually say nearly 90% of the big guns in the UK, they use SharePoint. Even in Nigeria, the GTB of this world, the Access Bank of this world, they use SharePoint as well as a collaborative tool for project. For IT project, if you're working on IT project, they use Jira software or Confluence, because Jira is very, very good. That's where you record your bugs or your defect, and people can always pick it up. And you also use Jira for agile project as well. So that is why I said Jira is a very good collaborative tool. So if you can learn all of this, and trust me, you can learn all of this on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and put all of, the moment you learn it, put them on your CV. You don't, I'm sure they will edit this part before uploading it for you guys. You don't have to have used it in an organization before. Okay? Before you can say you've used it. All you need to do is just learn how to use it. Learn how to use it, because all of these are enterprise tools. You can't get them installed on your laptop and use. The best you can do is to go on YouTube and learn how to use all of these things. And most of us will learn on the job, but they just want to know, do we have the knowledge of this tool? So that's the collaborative tool. SharePoint, we have SharePoint, we have Jira, we have Confluence that we always use a lot. Okay, someone is asking me, the Project Plus, that's it. So that's what you should be looking for, Boluwatife. And it's very cheap. I think it goes for $150 thereabout, quite cheap to start with, compared to CAPM or PMP that ranges from $555, or Prince 2. Prince 2 at the moment is like £1,000 thereabout. Okay. So next to that, for collaborative tool, is the planning tool. Planning tool, I'm sure some of you have seen MS Project, very familiar. You can learn MS Project. You can go to, let me say this. You can go to you can buy MS Project on Microsoft, quite cheap, or you can ask some of your friends that have got the license to help you install it. They can always have that. Smart Sheet is another one that is actually coming up recently now, that is trying to be big, because Smartsheet also has a collaborative platform like the planning, like the collaborative tool I showed earlier on. And also we have Primavera. For some of you, you must have heard P6 before. Primavera 2 is very good. The rail, oil and gas industry in the UK, they use Primavera a lot. And the simplest one you can use is using Excel spreadsheet, just using your code, your boxes, and coloring those cells and all that to just show the timeline and all of that. So in the absence of not having tools, because the moment you install Office on your laptop, you automatically get Excel. So you can actually use Excel to plan. Some organizations in the UK, they still use Excel to plan just because they can't get their head around MS Project. So I've worked in an organization that all I did was to go in, migrate all their project from Excel spreadsheets. That was MasterCard. Migrate all of their project from Excel spreadsheets to MS Project, and train all of their staff on how to use MS Project, basically. Okay, so that is a planning tools. And if there is nothing you guys are learning, please learn how to use any of these tools. Most especially, learn how to use MS Project. It is the simplest you can think about. Learn how to use it. It will help you a great deal as a project manager. It will help you. It will help on your CV. It will help you if they are screening for a project manager, for them to know that you know how to use this particular tool. Please try as much as possible to learn them, especially MS Project. Okay, next to that is reporting tools. Reporting tools, as a project manager, you would definitely be submitting reports. And one of the ways you can do your report is to use your Excel spreadsheet. You can use your Zoho. This is Zoho. Zoho is now very popular now. Zoho is getting popular because Zoho has got all of those collaborative tools as well within that. And you can always use your Power BI too, from Microsoft. You can use your Power BI to do your reporting as well. These are good. But if you're not learning anything, please go and learn how to use Excel spreadsheet to do your report. It's just about color coding and all of that, basically. YouTube is your best bet as well. Except if Dari and the team will be organizing key trainings to actually tackle all of these. All of these things I'm talking about, to learn how to use SharePoint, Jira, or Confluence, is 3 days training, 3 days full training of 8 hours per day, and they are quite expensive trainings. MS Project, to know how to use MS Project from hand to hand, basic is 3 days, advanced is 6 days. Same thing with MS Primavera. Smartsheet, yes, I can take Smartsheet in 2 days thereabout. And Excel, yeah, Excel is just 2 minutes basically. But like I said, a lot of organizations use it as well. Reporting tools, Excel, yeah, learn how to use it. And then the logs. For the logs, we have RaidLog. There's something we call RaidLog. So as a project manager or as a PMO person, this is going to be your baby on how to document and manage risk, how to document and manage assumption, how to document and manage issues, dependencies, decisions, actions, assumptions, and change requests. You need to know how to document that. And if you go on, the best thing you do for me tonight is to go on Google, and just type in read log template. If you type in read log template, a lot of those templates will come to you, and look for the one in Excel, the Excel format. Look for the Excel format. Take a look. It's going to be like this. So what we do here is we try to document our risk as we go on the project. As risk have been identified, you're documenting it. So as a project manager, you expect to document your risk, document your issues, document your assumptions, your dependencies, your decisions and all that, and manage them as you progress through the project. So that is very, very key. So that is the end of my presentation tonight. Any question? I know I was quite fast at the end of it because I was trying to run time. I don't want to keep you more than the allotted time for me. Apologies for that. Bola Dale saying, Samuel saying, yeah, maybe you joined us quite late. Sorry for that. I'm sure Dario will make this available for you to rewatch. Okay, any other question? You can unmute yourself now if you want to ask questions. So we have 9 minutes to ask questions. Oh, no questions. That's strange.
I just so I love what you said at some point there where you talked about the fact that when you did this work with your brother, and he was managing a construction project, even though he was not interested in those templates, you deliberately put it on him to get to use it and all that, and that was like really, really insightful, just to like call it out, because sometimes some people have opportunity to say, I have this opportunity to volunteer here or work here or things like that, and they just focus on doing the bare minimum. They just ask, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? But just to reiterate what you just said there, for people to really pick on it, to say that sometimes don't just what has been done alone. Like, it was exciting when some of the guys in the PM track were asked to do a charter. Someone had to reach out to me and say, hey, we're working on the charter. Where's the business case? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get it
nice.
Across to you guys. Like,
that's good.
It's not as if the person has done the training, but when the process of learning how to write a charter, she discovered that, oh, they were supposed to be referring to the business case at this point. So just to reiterate that, for people to know that they should not just focus on doing the bare minimum when they're trying to get experience. Some of all these things you've mentioned, they should try to pull it out and try to create it, whether it is requested or not, because that would become a story for them to be able to share when you have an opportunity to tell me a time when you've done this. And
absolutely. Yeah. And to add to that, where I am at the moment is they're quite laid back when it comes to tools and all that, and all they want to do is use Excel spreadsheet to manage their risk, actions, dependencies, change, and all of that. And I saw that they've got SharePoint, and I said, you know what, guys, I can actually build your SharePoint, and instead of Excel spreadsheet that you guys are just the team is using, I can build a SharePoint for the whole organization, for the whole organization here, US, whatever. From where I am, I can build a SharePoint for you, and everybody will be able to manage their risk, be able to manage their issues via the SharePoint and all of that. And I did a sample, presented it, and I'm more like an hotcake to them now. Do you understand? All because, and that was outside of the project I came to manage for them. So try to always go beyond. Do you understand? To actually deliver, you don't have to restrict yourself to just what you've been asked to do. Go beyond. Try your best to deliver, and also to solve problems. Basically, if you see problems, try to solve it. Okay. Any question? Any other question? So is this how is always quiet, Dario, or they're just quiet on me today?
I think maybe because some of them have been asking some questions halfway.
Okay.
I don't know if you've answered the question about someone requesting on how to get on, how to sign up for the CompTIA IT project?
Yes, I've written out what they should be looking out for
Okay.
properly. The
Oh,
CompTIA. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good night then.
Okay, thank you very much. And guys,
Welcome.
like you said, you'll have access to this recording and many of the things that I was mentioned because we keep reiterating it over and over after each class. That
Mm,
this, if you're going to have a full session on this is like a whole week of training that we're cramping into 2 hours for you. So the real aim and the real goal to achieve from this is that they take note of major things that they now have to go and do research on. And like you've advised as well to today, Ayo, for them to like go
yeah.
on, get on YouTube, watch a 2-3 hour video on each of some of those major items. Don't just attend the class and say, yeah, I've done the training and that's it. This is just
Mm,
giving you direction on the things that you should go and now research on, guys.
mm.
So if
Okay,
there
someone
is
is
one,
asking,
okay, explain the lead
but
business
what if
case.
it? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll put Elaine business case is just a normal artifact that you're supposed to develop, but this is from Safe, and Dari is the expert when it comes to Safe. Yeah, so I'll just put a question back to Dari.
All right. So, generally speaking, business case is something that business analysts work on. And sometimes some business analysts could be working on the business case for a few weeks, doing all the research, gathering all the data, and all that. So, in the spirit of being agile, hence the whole idea where the scaled agile framework, which is one of the agile methodologies, points out, creates a template for a lean business case. So, you don't have to try to write a 20-page, 15-page
Mm,
document for your business case. You can just do this in 2 or 3 pages with these templates, bringing out the most essential parts of it. So, generally, either a business case or the lean business case, the goal of these documents is just to tell us this is the reason why we want to do this project, to justify why we should
yep,
invest money into a particular project. That's just simple and what it is
yep.
about. Yeah. I was going to
Okay,
ask you a
thank
question
you.
before this question pop up, Ayo, and
Go
somehow
ahead.
it's like
Go
it's
ahead,
escaped my.
please.
It's like it's escaped my. Oh yeah, it's
Oh
come back now.
dear.
So,
Okay.
any tips do you that you have to give the audience in terms of like writing their CV as for like project management roles? Because the different thing sometimes to have the skills, to have the knowledge, and it's a different thing to be
Yeah.
able to put it properly on their CV to be able to get
Okay.
the audience, please.
Yes. So the first thing you need to do, like I said earlier on, is you need to learn a lot of things. So this is how it comes in for project management. If you're looking for a role within project management, is about what we call buzzwords. So we have buzzwords that we use. Say if except you're in Nigeria, that people still, that HR guys or recruiters still read recruiters, they still read your CV. That's but if you're on this side of the world, they pass all of your CVs through softwares now, and they don't even have time. It's all about AI. And it's the AI that will look at that and look at the buzzwords. So you need to understand what are the buzzwords. And if you notice, I've said a lot of buzzwords tonight, like stakeholders management. I kept on reiterating that the scope, milestones, the tools, the project management tools like MS Projects, SharePoint, and all that. Those are the things you want to put on your CV to say, you know what, and you have to go. And that's why I said you need to learn most of these things to say, yes, I've got the knowledge about it. I know how to use it. So those things are key as skills on your CV to say, you know, I know how yeah, you might not be 100% good, or might not be efficient in using it, but at least you have a knowledge of it. So you don't have to put it that you have a knowledge of, just put it there. And you know, if anybody should ask you a question, you can actually say something about it to say, I've used it before and all of that. That is one, is critical. Two, what you need to do again is if you can go to JobServe, I always tell people this www.jobserve.com. Type in project manager role in that particular website. You will see a lot of project managers role, and you will see a lot of those responsibilities that are listed for you to say, the project manager, to say the person we are looking for, this person must be able to manage raid log with da, 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 da. This person must be that is exactly what you're looking for to develop your own CV, to say, you know what, I manage rate log with my team to capture risk, assumptions, issues, and dependencies, because that is what one recruiter is looking for, one organization is looking for. It is the same for almost all organizations. So all you just need to do is look at that, look at those responsibilities that are listed, and look at the ones you think you've done in the past, and use that to fine-tune your own CV. That is that's the way to go about it, really, because if you have to sit down and start looking at it, you might not know the punching word or the buzzwords to actually use that will get the recruiter to look at your responsibilities. But go and look at what recruiters have listed already and use that to develop your own CV. That is the best way to go about it. And don't forget the buzzwords. Don't forget the buzzwords to use on your CV. And if you can do Prince 2 Foundation, do it. If you can do IT CompTIA Plus, do it, as the basics to know how to know what project management is all about within the global world. Is there any recommendation as to who to search for? Unfortunately, I don't have, but there are great materials there. All you just need to do is just type in what you're looking for. You will have that feeling based on the views to know that this is the person you should be listening to.
There is I think after I saw that message, I decided to just test it and just type project management. And there are two particular guys that I know I've seen some of their content before that came up. One of them is called
good stuff.
One of them is called Simply Learn.
Yes, Simply Learn.
Simply with I. And they have like 742,000 subscribers.
Simply Learn is good. Is good.
You can confirm that.
Because some of their videos, they are even selling some of their videos.
Yeah.
So the problem with Simply Learn is, if they are telling you that we're doing project management training, so they will only upload 5 out of 10 because they want you to buy the other 5.
Buy the other 5, okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw these other guys too. Edureka, they've got like 2 million, over 2 million subscribers. I don't know how much of content, but I know these are the reason why I mentioned those ones out of the options that came up was because I've seen materials from these guys before as well too.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you. So Simply Learn and Edureka, how can one link you up for that? Maybe on LinkedIn. Yes, my name is Kongi on LinkedIn, so you can search for me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yes, you can search for me on LinkedIn, and I will definitely accept your request. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much again. Once again, we're really grateful having you here tonight, and it's been refreshing. It's been a lot of knowledge, a lot of insights that we've gotten into this. So thank you very much once again. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
All right then. Bye.